The time is 7:31. I call the December 16th meeting of Yardley Borough Council to order. Please stand for the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Manager Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Carlson?
Present.
Mr. Finer?
Present.
Ms. Thompson?
Present.
Ms. Siegel-Morris?
Present.
Ms. Scherer?
Present.
And Mr. Ackerbaum? Here. And for the last time, Mayor Harding.
Present.
With 7 members and the mayor present, we have a quorum plus. All right, we will move on to community announcements, starting with very special presentations for our outgoing elected officials, starting with a presentation by Councilperson Finer.
Thank you. Jared, Mr. Stump. Having been on and off council so many times that I've lost count, I've seen people come and go. And what I've learned is that when you're new, it takes time to get acclimated and figure out what's going on and how you can be effective. It wouldn't be unusual for that to take a year or two, so it's hard to believe you've been on council only 2 years. When I first met you, you told me you wanted to get things done. You may have used a different word than things, but we'll say things. From your first day, you had the courage to ask questions, to be bold, to introduce and work and fight towards implementing improvements and new ideas for the benefit of the borough and our wonderful neighbors in this small but special town. You have taken hours and hours each week to serve our residents all over town, and in cases where they really needed help and had nowhere to go, you served as their advocate. It takes courage to be outspoken versus the status quo of just falling in line. It's not easy because it makes you a natural target. This can become frustrating, time-consuming, and take even more time away from your precious family and work. But it's one thing to be outspoken, it's another to actually do something about it, whether it's a pothole, a sign, a garbage can, an elevation problem, working to keep our local police, or many others. You've consistently taken the time to go to where the trouble is, to get a first-hand report and see what you could do about it. You're not just talk, you're action. You've probably heard me say it before, but I've learned that the work of being an effective council person doesn't happen in the meetings. It happens with the work each of us does outside the meetings. You are a model example of that, volunteering at its best. The most common thread from your first day here until today, visible in plain sight, but even more so, the more I've gotten to know you, is your underlying integrity, which directs everything that you do. Your contributions to the borough's communications, boards and commissions, walkability and pedestrian safety, public spaces, parking, local policing, and resident advocacy in elevations and other areas will live on long after your departure. I wish for you and for your growing young family that over the next few years, you are rewarded with the satisfaction of experiencing the results of your labor and having made Yardley an even better place to live.
Is that your kid? Do we have a photographer, or you want to? Yeah.
Your show. You want to keep them? Okay.
Don't be sad about that.
Okay, yeah, let me move them.
Sure.
They are pretty, but.
Hang on a second. Hey, Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie, woohoo!
So in appreciation, I present you with this plaque, which says your commitment to capturing every moment and every angle has left an indelible mark on Yardley, reminding us that every perspective matters.
was more popular now than when I was first sworn into office.
Oh.
And another baby girl on the way too.
There you go.
Actually, what about from yesterday?
Here, you want your I'll bring it to you.
Thank you.
I think we should thank Allison for lending him to us.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, would you like to say anything, Councilperson Stump?
I really don't like being put on the spot like that.
No, you don't have to be. Go on.
You know, I'm gonna cry. You know, when I first joined council, Caroline, you may not remember this, but I remember telling you I was planning on laying low for the first year and not really being involved in a lot of things. And then you and David teamed up and made me the chair of a committee, which I protested at first and then said, okay, fine, I guess I'll do it. And I realized very quickly after the second meeting, the first meeting, that I wasn't going to be able to lay low for very long, and I was just going to have to jump in head first. One of the things you may not have known, though, was after the very first meeting, I was sitting next to Mayor Harding, and then I was where Kim is sitting now. And then after we did the reorganization, and you were sworn in as council president, I was right next to you for most of the meeting. If you'll notice, I ended up down here at the end of the room for the second meeting so that I could be off camera except for when I'm talking and kind of being more of a spot of learning than in the center of the action. And then we all just kind of rolled with it. You know, it became like an old school church where like, oh no, we don't want to sit in somebody's spot. But I definitely learned and grew a lot from having the moment of going, oh my goodness, what am I doing up here? What did I get myself into? To learning to take ownership of the role and responsibility for the town, and realizing that the decisions we make here impact other people's lives, their homes, and it's a big responsibility. And it's something that I've been honored to do, to serve the 2,605 residents of Yardley Borough for the last 2 years. And I'll still be around, still be involved in things. Maybe even I'll be able to work with some of the new council members to make some of the things that I wanted to make happen, that I didn't get a chance to make happen because I was getting sucked into other things, actually happen. But at least, after a year and a half, we got a trash can added.
Whoop, whoop.
I think that might be my biggest accomplishment. And the trash days moved, so
That
it'll be
should've been on
empty.
the plaque. Trash can guy. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on. I'll stand up, make it a little more official. I would like to recognize and thank Don Carlson for his service to Yardley Borough Council since 2020. Don has been a steady, thoughtful presence during a time when local government hasn't always been easy or quiet. He stayed out of the drama and focused on what mattered most. The numbers and the facts. Not the he said, she said. If it couldn't be found in the spreadsheet or explained logically, Don probably wasn't interested in hearing it. Don didn't vote based on noise or pressure. He never quite knew how he was going to vote until the moment came. And I respect the heck out of that. It meant he was actually thinking, weighing, and deciding independently. In a world that rewards hot takes, Don did his homework. Don is someone who works hard and plays hard. Somehow he managed to travel an enviable amount and still maintain one of the highest levels of engagement in borough business and progress. Even when he wasn't physically here, he was always informed, prepared, contributing, and just a little bit more tan than the rest of us. That level of engagement from multiple time zones doesn't happen by accident. There's a quote by John F. Kennedy that feels particularly fitting tonight. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. The office will feel more empty next year, especially in the months leading up to the budget read, when Don's calm, analytical presence will be sorely missed. I know by Paula and Patty especially. Meetings will feel a little less balanced and a little less steady, though I'm confident in our newcomers, certainly. One of my favorite things since 2020 has been receiving a call from Don that would start something like, I want to talk to you about, not, I want to tell you what to do, not, here's what I think, just, let's talk about it, tell me what you're thinking and why we're doing it this way. That approach, respectful and solutions-oriented, is exactly why Don has been such a valuable colleague and a public servant. Thank you, Don, for the care you brought to this role, the integrity you brought to every decision, and the thoughtful conversations you brought to this council. Yardley is better for it, and I'd also like to thank Don's incredible support system, namely his wife Susan, for allowing him to do this, for sharing him with us, and to his entire family. Families of elected officials give far more than the elected officials themselves. So if you'll come up here. Just some small tokens of our gratitude. It says, in grateful recognition of Don Carlson, interpreter of deltas, defender of dollars, hero of general.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
I really enjoyed my time on council, and before I talk a little bit why I went on, one of the reasons I went on was because of this person here. I watched from afar. I used to sit out in those uncomfortable chairs and watch what was going on. And the steady hand of a president who knows how to run a meeting, knows how to keep people focused, knows how to listen to everybody, and take a balanced approach, made it attractive for me to then want to be part of this council and thinking, hey, we can really get some stuff done. And so that's why I got on council and then eventually got voted on council. So I enjoyed that. One of the things that I also enjoyed was working very much with Paul and Patty. I know I've made their life miserable with my questions and asking the same question every other month. What's this account again? Why is that there? But I think I learned a lot, and I also learned that we put some processes in that will carry on. And so, particularly this last year, has just been a steady rhythm of what do we do in the end of the first quarter, what do we do in June, what do we do September, October, November. It's kind of ingrained, so I feel like you're in good hands with them and having a process that delivers, a budget that we can all understand. But I really enjoyed working with everybody on council on various topics, and whether it was outside dining ordinance or short-term rentals, all those things that we got deep into and took quite a while to go. I may not look impatient, but sometimes in my mind I'm like, oh my God, does it really take 17 meetings to get to the finish line that logically could be done in 2? But that's just coming from the private sector where you have to get it done in 2 meetings. So, but I've learned the process, enjoyed it, and I think the borough's in good shape. And I'm not going to be too far away. I'm now on the sewer authority, and so my goal to be on the sewer authority is coming down the line is a new sewage treatment plan and how the money's going to get allocated. And I will do my best to make sure that we pay our fair share and only our fair share. And the other big municipalities can pick up the tab for that. So I'll still be involved there. So occasionally you'll see me as a sewer authority presenting to you guys. But thank you all. Thank you for this recognition.
No one else. That's it.
No one else, that's it. So it's my turn. So tonight I was asked to talk about my friend Chris Harding, who, as we all know, is our mayor. Chris proves that public service is just not a job, it's a lifelong commitment, and occasionally includes a golf cart, Mad Elf, fireworks, bad decisions with some families. Chris's journey began in Yardley Borough officially January of 2000 when he was elected to council. Just 4 years later, in January of 2004, he stepped into the role of council president, serving with distinction through December of 2007. And then in January of 2014, Chris became our mayor, a role that he has proudly and tirelessly led right up through today. It was probably my father-in-law's second proudest day when you became mayor. He was very proud of you, as you know. Over the years, Chris guided the borough through compassion, professionally, and with a steady hand through some of the most challenging times that we had in Yardley Borough. From devastating floods in 2005 and 2006 to the sudden loss of our borough manager, Bill Winslade, in 2011, to the shocking shooting of our police chief, Joe Kelly, in 2021. Chris showed us what leadership looks like when it truly matters, and we really do appreciate that. Chris brought Yardley Borough to the airwaves by launching WBCB's most popular self-proclaimed radio show, Yardley Borough on Air. His guest list was second to none. He even interviewed, and I don't know if y'all know this, Henry the Fonz Winkler, probably the only guest that I did not book for him. What will I do with my Tuesday mornings from now on? I don't know. Your dedication to the veterans is truly second to none. Immediately after winning the mayoral election, Chris brought Carry the Load through town, and that commitment continues through, as we know. His constant presence at every Memorial Day, Veterans Day ceremony, delivering speeches that were heartfelt, moving, and unforgettable. Chris volunteered with Wreaths Across America, organized a workday at Washington's Crossing National Cemetery to straighten hundreds of headstones, and made sure our veterans were always remembered and honored. That's something that I think many people recognize you for, Chris. And if it wasn't enough, Chris has performed hundreds of marriage ceremonies right here in this room, officially making him responsible for a significant portion of Yardley's happy couples.
Aww.
He walked in every Memorial Day parade and Christmas parade. During the Christmas parade, he somehow managed to collect food for the veterans' food banks while marching. A true great thing to do. And someday we'll return the carts to ShopRite. Simply put, Chris left no stone or golf cart unturned. Chris, your service, your heart, your humor, your unwavering dedication left a mark on Yardley Borough and on the Johnson family, I will add. We are better, stronger, more connected because of you. Thank you for everything you have given to this community, for reminding us that leadership can be compassionate, can be fun, and deeply human. And please join me in thanking my friend, Mayor Chris Harding.
If I could just take a moment, Chris, I'd like to apologize. You probably don't remember this, but when you first ran for mayor, you stopped by my house, and I opened the door, and I immediately slammed it on you. I just didn't know you well then.
That's quite all right.
But I do want to say thank you. Also, wonderful. Thank you for inspiring me. And when I did have my mayoral campaign, to have truly a true one and an opponent with great integrity, and having me on the radio show. It's a whole new career. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just note that old Doc Johnson could not be here today.
Oh, yeah.
He will have something to help you fill this, but this is
What is
from Yardley Borough Council,
You guys are the best.
and it says Chris Harding, Mayor, Yardley Borough, in the years you served.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So thank you, Paula, and thanks to your father-in-law also. There's a special connection with you. So, made a lot of friends here.
Bring your family out. Okay, all right. You bring them out.
A lot of friends here, so thank you to the friends. Thanks to the department for showing up. I've made a lot of mistakes too. For those, I apologize. For a local kid to give back is really cool. So I
try not to get emotional today. I already talked about this with Chief, but I thank Yardley Borough for the opportunity. That's truly the way I look at it. It is outside in, so just a special town and my family, so. Thank you. I mean, yeah, this place I grew up. It's Wawa, the old pharmacy, if you know it, you know. This was my stomping ground, so to just be able to put a slight fingerprint on it over the past years means a lot. And now it's the place I raised my family. So, you guys, we're now in your hands. The borough is in good hands, though. Mayor-elect, we are confident in you. You'll do a fantastic job. Chief, right there with you. Past Chief, all added. Thank you, everybody. This is just a great opportunity. I'll never forget some of the things that I had a chance to do. The fact that the veterans let me speak on their behalf still blows my mind. So, thanks to everybody. And I'm sorry I get emotional, but it's happened ever since I had a daughter. I don't know what it was. Maybe Jack and I can go to therapy together. We are two men who should not be crying at things like this, and it's just the daughters that do it to us.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I know. So you guys are the best. I can get through it now. Thank you for everything. It was an awesome 12 years as mayor, an awesome 8 years on council. I'm sorry I had to go through some of the things we had to go through. We talk about we would erase cities if we had the power to do it, but we don't. But it was fun and a great opportunity. So everyone in Yardley Borough, I thank them for that opportunity. You guys want to take a quick picture?
Yes.
Here, do I have your phone too?
Yeah, it's
I'll
cool.
send it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Alright. 1, 2, hey. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. I'll go another. Hang on, I gotta give her a plastic. I should have a prize.
Oh, gosh, I remember those days.
I passed my emotions though, so.
Don't lose it.
All right, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, first off.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. So tonight we take a moment to recognize, thank our outgoing mayor, Mr. Harding, for his dedicated service to our community from January 1st, 2014 to December 31st of this year. Throughout his time in office, Mayor Harding led with integrity, commitment, and a deep sense of responsibility to the people he served. His leadership extended well beyond Borough Hall and the Police Department. It was also reflected in his unwavering devotion to the United States military and our nation's veterans. Mayor Harding consistently ensured that our veterans were honored and remembered, most notably through his support and leadership in hosting the annual Carry Load events, as well as his continued recognition of veterans on Veterans Day. These efforts served as a meaningful reminder that the sacrifices of our service members and their families are never to be forgotten. Equally important was his commitment to serving those in need within our own community. Through his leadership of holiday food drives during our annual holiday parade, Mayor Harding helped bring neighbors together and ensure that families in need were supported during the most meaningful times of the year. While his time as mayor, Mayor Harding also joined many people together in marriage, my wife and I included.
Aww.
As you can see, Mayor Harding's devotion to the people that both live and work in Yardley Borough was beyond exceptional. His steady leadership, thoughtful decision-making, and commitment to service have left a lasting impact on this community. On behalf of the borough, the Yardley Borough Police Department, and all those that you have had the privilege to work next to, we thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your dedication. Also with that, we also thank your family's sacrifice. They too, also, through your efforts and time away from family and to help others, are also recognized. Mayor Harding, we wish you and your family nothing but the best in your next chapter of your lives. Your legacy will endure, and your contributions will not be forgotten.
Mr. Mayor, pretty much what that said. No, I paid it for you, but here's a small token of our appreciation. There you go. Here.
My reading glasses?
There you go. Do you mind, read it out? In recognition of distinguished service presented to Mayor Christopher P. Harding for faithfully serving Yardley Borough from January 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2025. Your integrity, commitment to the borough, and strong oversight, right?
Yep.
And support of the Yardley Borough Police Department have helped create a safe and stronger community with heartfelt gratitude from the Chief of Police and the officers of the Yardley Borough Police Department. There you go. There you go. It's been a long time, but thank you. Look, I've said all the time, I said the same thing about the veterans, and I said the same thing, and I always said to Chief Kelly, you guys know infinitely more than I'll ever know of policing. So for me to ever come in and try to show you how to do your policing, I was blessed by the talent in this department. You guys made me look good. I had nothing to do with it. So the thanks is to you.
I'm just here about those shopping carts.
Thank you so much.
We'll surrender them after the meeting.
Good job.
We move on. May I say something? Okay. I just want to wait till.
Okay.
Just before we move to the next stage, President Caroline, you've been our president for 4 years or serving here. Well, I just think a few words are in order because you're not leaving us. You are moving down the aisle. I'll miss you sitting next to me, but it'll be good to work with you over in the mayor's seat. I think that this borough owes you a debt of gratitude for the hard work that you have put in. I have seen it time and time again. No matter what happens, you find a way with your young family to tirelessly get the job done and do it well. And it's hard to be president because although you get the credit for good things that happen, you also get blamed for everything that goes wrong. And here we are, and I think that everybody, or most people, can agree that this borough is in really good shape right now. And a large part of that has to do with your leadership of this group. And so I'm grateful to you, and I thank you for all this work that you've done. You are far wiser than your years and more capable than one might think. And I look forward to working with you as mayor.
Thank you. It's been the honor of a lifetime, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, everyone. All right, with the warm and fuzzies in our hearts and a mind of gratitude, we can move into our meeting. You can stay, you can go, no hard feelings. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Are there any other community announcements this evening about upcoming events happening in or around the borough? I think we're out of the busy season, but there's still stuff going on, right? Anything to announce?
I do.
Yes.
Apparently, Santa is going to be visiting Yardley Borough Thursday night, starting at 4 o'clock until probably about 7, driving on an antique fire truck throughout the streets. So, weather permitting, Santa will be here Thursday night to visit everybody.
Is there a rain date if it's
Friday.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Even stinkier weather-wise, right?
But I think the rain is supposed to hold off until like in the middle of the nighttime, so
That shouldn't
stay
be
tuned.
Santa
We
anyway.
will keep everybody posted on Facebook as well.
Excellent, that's exciting. Any other upcoming events? All right, moving on to public comment. This is the portion of the meeting where members of the public can address council. Please state your name and whether or not you live in the borough, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. This is for matters not on the agenda. Any public comment this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to consideration of the consent agenda dated December 16th, 2025. It includes approval of the minutes dated December 2nd, 2025, and certificate of appropriateness 25-2781 South Main Street for a little library. Does any member of council wish to remove an item? I would entertain a motion to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Scherer, seconded by Councilperson Carlson. Any discussion from council?
Mary Ann did a great job on the minutes.
Thank you. Agreed. Any other comments? Any comments from the public? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. You have before you the finance report dated December 16th, 2025. If there are no changes, questions, comments, it will be accepted by consensus. All right. I think I hear our next agenda item coming up the stairs, so Councilperson Stump.
Yeah, so we just had a moment here where we were discussing amongst ourselves if we remembered to notify her that this was going to be taking place tonight, but I'm guessing that we did. So
Here she is.
there we go. So this is for the Historical Architecture Review Board. We initially, back in November, when I found out that this position was going to be opening up, and we had several people that were interested in applying, I thought it might be better if we did this in a meeting versus doing it behind the scenes and then making a recommendation, and then, okay, do we get the people here if people want to ask them further questions, and how does all that work? The way it's fallen, it looks like we only actually had one applicant, which we were not expecting, but wanted to go through with what we had initially said we were going to do and follow through to and be true to our word. And one of the things that I've noticed in the last 2 years of doing community outreach, and this is just my personal take, just to kind of pass on to whoever is in charge of this next, is my personal thing is that, there's some of the boards and commissions that are a little more, not as much legal ramifications to them, like the EAC or Parks and Rec or the Shade Tree Commission, even though those are some of my favorite committees. But then there's some where, the decisions that are made affect more, and some of those positions need to be given a little more attention. And so that was why I initially wanted to do this, with thinking there would be multiple applicants applying. So, yeah, that's kind of the backstory. Dr. Perlmutter? Yeah, you're the only, we thought we were going to have more, but you're the only one, so.
Can I just say one thing about what you said about the how you're doing it, and maybe it's something to look at for next year, like when it's done in public versus, on Zoom or whatever, or whether that's available. It's just to, I remember we did it, I think it was like maybe 2016, there was a candidate for sewer board, and we did do a public
Okay.
interview. So I don't know what maybe you remember it, Paula. I don't remember what, criteria determined that, but I think it'd be worth looking at, so we have consistency in the future.
I didn't live here in 2016, so I can't speak to that, unfortunately. But yeah, so Dr. Perlmutter, thank you. That was a little bit of the backstory that we were sharing as to, if you were maybe wondering, like, why are some of the other interviews done differently? And by the way, we would have done it potentially this way for some of the other positions as well if there had been competition. But like when we did the EAC a few weeks ago, it ended up there was only one person because another person said they didn't want to go up against them. So anyway, that's why we're doing this. So I'll start it off with my questions just to get the ball rolling, and then we can maybe go down the table. Some people may have questions for you, some may not, but want to give everybody the opportunity. So my question is kind of twofold. I'll ask both of them kind of as one question is, what interests you about the Historical Architecture Review Board, and what qualifications do you feel like you can bring to the table?
Well, historic homes is my avocation. I mean, that's one of the reasons I moved to Yardley Borough. I have a degree in architectural design. I didn't pursue that as a vocation, but I did renovate 2 historic homes in the borough that were in very bad shape when I purchased them. One I ended up even raising after the flood. That was quite, trying to preserve it, that was quite a situation. And I've gone to numerous HARB meetings. I'm familiar with the process, and I think I can contribute a number of things. One of the things I discussed with other members the last time I applied was doing a newsletter where every 6 months would showcase a historic building. And this started when Dreyfus Opticians was renovating, and I was documenting the whole process. And I think that would, I'm skilled at writing and putting together graphic newsletters. So that was one of the things. And the other thing is, I guess it was a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago, when there was the whole situation with the paint ordinance. And again, I've talked to members who said that, if we go in that direction, I could help draft that. So there's a number of skills I have that I can bring to it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I have a couple questions. Obviously, you've been around for many years in the borough, and you know a lot of owners of some of these properties.
Yes.
You had a couple of them, and then you know a lot of the owners, or have had interaction with people who have properties in the district. Are there any situations that, if you were on HARB, that you think would qualify as a situation where you would want to recuse yourself from voting on or acting on it? And if so, what kind of things would there be would fall into that?
Certainly, if there was a conflict of interest, a legal conflict of interest with anyone, I would recuse myself. I guess if the board asked me to recuse myself on any particular thing, I would.
And then my second question is kind of similar, but a little different. If an applicant, imagine an applicant comes before HARB, and there's lots of discussion on it amongst HARB on this, and you're on one side of the fence, either for what they want to do, or want them to go in a different direction, or think they should use different materials, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But the HARB ends up with a recommendation to council to say, yes, move forward with whatever the applicant was asking for. But you're pretty seriously against, we're against it, but you were outvoted. When that then recommendation comes before council, would there be any circumstances where you would want to come before council to get your opposition made to council after a hard vote was made or not?
No, if the majority vote was to recommend someone, why would I come to council opposing it? I mean, no, I wouldn't do that.
Thank you. Those are the only two questions I have.
So back when I was doing Jared's job, I remember interviewing you, and you expressed your interest in HARB, and I didn't know that until I learned then, which you're reminding us that you have a background in that area. And then Eli Dreyfus expressed interest in doing it, and you said to me, if he wants to do it, I'm going to step down from applying because he's really more qualified than me. And I appreciated that you did that. So now there's a spot opening up, and I have a couple of questions. One is, do you have any feedback from other members of HARB supporting or not supporting you being a member of that board?
Do I have feedback?
Yeah, in other words, what are
Yeah,
their,
I mean, the chair, Jerry Taylor, has sponsored me several times, including this time. Tim Foster is the one who asked me. I didn't even know there was an opening until he asked me to apply. Eli Dreyfus had asked me. Gail asked me. So several members that I go to the meetings. They know I'm familiar with things.
they know you and they
They're in
ask?
support.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you for explaining that. And then my other question, I'm going to kind of follow what Don was saying, but I'm going to be a little more direct. So we're in a small town. I have great respect for you. I've known you for years. We've known each other. Some of us, you know, we have our histories in various ways, and we don't always agree on things. And when I've noticed when you don't agree with people, you could be outspoken. And sometimes there's conflict around that. And I think the concern, as I sort of read the room, here we have a qualified applicant. The concern is probably not, are you like qualified on paper to be on HARB, but is there going to be conflict that causes the board to fall apart in some way? And I guess my question for you is, how can you address that to give comfort to the members of council that if you go on that board, that you'll kind of respect their rules of order and their methods, so that you have your say as a member, but kind of like what Don was saying, if you don't agree with somebody, that it doesn't become like a fight. And I don't, does that make sense? Does my question
Oh,
make
yes,
sense?
it's
Okay.
kind of quite shocking. I don't know how to respond to that. The members of HARB have asked me to be on the board. I go to the meetings. I've always said that HARB is one of the best committees in this town. Because everybody gets along and because they follow the rules and they do there's no selective this or special exemptions for that. And the fact that I think you're concerned that I'm so vocal, it's usually because there have been many situations where there's just selective enforcement, selective everything. So yes, when I come to council meetings, I voice that, but I don't have that problem on HARB because it's a great group of people and they're very honest and well-intentioned and they follow the guidelines. And I wouldn't be applying if they didn't want me on it. So I don't know how else to alleviate your concerns.
I just want to give you, the opportunity to just kind of share that and not ignore that, because it's just helpful to hear your perspective on it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Dr. Perlmutter. I've had the opportunity to interview you many times, and I don't have any further questions. I'm aware of your credentials. Thank you for applying.
Thanks.
You just mentioned that the HARB follows the rules and, they're applied, basically, I'm paraphrasing, they're applied equally. However, I do feel like HARB says that they can't be more specific in guidelines. Like we had, maybe it was last year when we had this big discussion about this building had hardy plank and why can't this building have hardy plank? And so I think that that's really, for me, sitting up here, that confuses me. I'm like, why can't that be more spelled out? Like, when is it appropriate to be able to use a siding like that or when not? Like, I would like to see a little more spelling out of guidelines so that in the future, as HARB members change, that a future HARB board doesn't say, oh yeah, well, everybody can do hardy plank, or it's fine, or what happens in the future when HARB is less or more strict? Like, is there a way to kind of firm up what a owner of an historic property can do?
I think that's a great question. And one of the things I would like to do, working with the board, is to compile the rules, like, and to get them to people that are moving into the historic district so they know, so that everything is consistent. I'm very familiar with the manual for Pennsylvania Historic Architectural Review Boards. And it's it's like an 84-page document. I'm familiar with that. We don't need to do 84 pages, but I do think, I agree with you completely that it needs to be consistent and in writing so that if a new board new members come in.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. You're a very intelligent woman. You express yourself very well. It sounds like if you were to be on HARB, that you have specific ideas as to how they could improve. Like, well, just what you were just saying, you know, there could be changes made to improve it. And maybe studies done and sharing, like putting things on, I don't know, in a newsletter. I just want to ask if you were to go there and, you know, it sounds you're very passionate, obviously. If you went there with some of those ideas, how would you be if they said, maybe another time, or we're just not really interested in that?
Well, another good question. I've already discussed most of these ideas with members, and even the paint situation I discussed with the chair, and he was going back and forth. Maybe it might not be, I would just work with everybody, I would, they've discussed these ideas. So it's not like I'm trying to change anything, I'm just trying to enhance.
Well, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, like, I have ideas that I'd like to enhance things too, and it gets shut down, so.
If it's shut down, it's shut down. I mean, that's, I wouldn't do it.
David?
Hi, Dawn. I think you've done yourself a bit of a disservice tonight. Two of the things you mentioned, I can't see how, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you will, don't seem accurate. Number one, in all the time that I've been a liaison with the Historical Architectural Review Board, I've never seen you at their meeting. How long have I been the liaison? I'm trying to remember. Is it almost 2 years or 2 years? Something like that.
2 years, yeah.
I've never seen you there. Number two, how many people supported her for her candidacy, Mr. Stump?
I specifically got references from Eli Dreyfus and Jerry Taylor.
Correct. Is that the entire board? No. And I will not speak out of confidence, but I know that telling us that everyone supports you is not true. Further, if you had come to those meetings over the last couple of years, which you have not, you would know that, in fact, we have a pamphlet that we worked very hard on with our president and myself and the members of HARB, and that the rules and regulations, though are important to review from Pennsylvania, are good. We have our own set that we use as simple guidelines. You didn't know that. It would be great if you had come to these meetings over the last couple of years, but you did not. You could have been a good citizen. You could have been a good neighbor by coming and sharing your ideas and thoughts with us, but you chose not to. But here you are applying, I'm not done, but here you are applying for a position that, number one, requires great expertise, and two, the ability to come to consensus and even one way or another, on very important historical, architectural issues. Some of those discussions have been heated. If you don't get your way, or are you going to, I mean, I don't know how many times we've been to court with you. I'm not really happy that, that I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, sure, why not? Give you a chance. I would normally, but I find that your attitude is divisive. And when you don't get your way. My opinion, I'm only one of 7 council people.
Can I respond?
I'm going to stop in 1 second, thank you. Personally, I talk to you, I like you, but I cannot envision, especially, here's a couple other facts I just want to add, I'm sorry, I'll be very quick. The other thing is that this board is the only board that allows us to solicit members from outside our area. The board, to my, what's the word I'm looking for? I was not happy. I said we need to start expanding our search. We have found other candidates, and now I just am not comfortable, on top of everything else, just making a decision tonight when I know that there's a possibility of finding candidates that are highly qualified versus just qualified. You yourself said you have this is an avocation, but it's not a vocation. The people that we're interested in, they do it as a vocation. I'm done, thank you.
Well, first of all, President Thompson, you were at a meeting that I was at when the solicitor was there, a HARP meeting. I'm not sure when that was, but I don't think you were in
It is
attendance.
correct. You started yelling at me and demanding from the chair why I was there and why was I speaking. Yes.
I don't think Councilman Applebaum was there at that meeting.
He was there.
And since you're being so forthcoming, I am aware that as the liaison, when you were representing HARB,
I still do.
that you had told everybody on HARB that they were against the ATM machine, and that when you came to council, you were going to vote against it because you were representing the members of HARB. That was their wish.
Absolutely untrue, but thank you for bringing it up.
And when you came, you voted
Wait, you're the one that's
differently.
being interviewed, not me. Thank you.
Well, I'm just pointing it out.
But the truth is the truth, and that's not the truth. This is another narrative that you have expanded that is not accurate. There's some truth, but not accurate.
Thank you both. Do you have any closing comments?
No.
Thank you. Councilperson Stump, anything else to conclude the interview?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Perlmutter.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we hold off on a vote and not vote tonight. And we have a brand-new set of people coming in a couple weeks. And I think it would be nice to have some of our newest people make a decision in the event that we do have somebody else to choose from.
Okay, there was a motion to table a vote on this applicant until the new administration is sworn in. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Discussion from council.
What do we have? I'm trying to understand. Do we have some sense that we have more qualified candidates on the way? Have there been any
Mr.
other
Finer, we
applicants?
do.
Well, can you be more specific?
Mr. Finer, Mr. Foster has promised, well, not promised, I'm sorry. I've been talking to him, and he has said that he has at least 2 real estate agents with background in historical buildings. That's one example.
Okay.
Further,
I'm
we're
gonna read-
not obligated to make a choice until we're comfortable with the candidate, considering, especially considering experience. This is an important role that affects people's property values and as well as other issues that are under the purview of HARP. So that's why, yes.
Yeah, we're not obligated, but I'm trying to make sense of, because I see like Jerry Taylor said, for all of Dawn's controversies, she's always been a strong advocate for historic preservation, including her homes. I think she'd be an active member with good insights. As per our last hard meeting, we do need a realtor, but if that doesn't happen, I strongly support Dawn. And then Eli said,
I don't know if we should, did we get permission to read those publicly? I'm not sure if we should, but you can. It just,
I don't know, they seem benign,
are
but
you comfortable with that, with us reading
I
them?
mean, I just thought it's good to
Yeah.
get context here, okay? I
Like,
didn't
give
come
us
with any
permission. Yeah,
this
sure.
is organic. I didn't, as a business owner and resident of Yardley Borough, I've known Dawn Perlmutter for over 30 years. We share a serious and enthusiastic interest for the preservation of historic buildings. I highly recommend Dawn Perlmutter for HARB because she has a background in architectural design, has renovated 2 historic buildings in Yardley Borough, and is familiar with the history and preservation of historic buildings in the borough. Dawn has historically attended many HARB meetings over the years and understands the application process and how we as a board review applications and make decisions because of her professionalism, knowledge, and commitment to Yardley Borough. Dawn Perlmutter will be an asset to the Historic Architecture Review Board. So I'm just reading that because, David, I think you shared a perspective, which is okay, but I think it needs to be,
If we have other.
he's saying that she's attend a lot of meetings. So it's a little, somewhere, the truth is usually somewhere in between, and that's fine.
What am I being accused of? I'm sorry.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
Then what do you mean it's somewhere?
I'm saying that I heard you say that Dr. Perlmutter hasn't attended HARB
Well,
meetings.
is it, that's
reading
not
that
true.
she
I mean, it's, okay.
has from a board. I'm just trying to look at all of what's in front of us. So now I did read that a real estate agent is preferred. And do you have any knowledge of real estate agents forthcoming?
That is what I
We wanna-
have been told. That was what I've been told by Mr.
So then the tabling would be, is there a date attached to that?
I'm sorry.
It's one thing to table it because we have, another group of candidates coming in 30 days, whatever. It's another to just table it when we have somebody who.
The idea is not to
qualified.
drag this on, if that's what you're
I
asking.
would say the second meeting in January, I would not want to make that the
Okay.
meeting when everybody first comes in and welcome
For the
to
second.
the group. And
Yeah.
it's probably going to be a
Okay.
busy meeting.
I mean, that sounds
And
reasonable.
let the chips fall where they may. I mean, if that's the case, I'm not against Dr. Perlmutter's experience. I just am bringing up some inaccuracies in her comments.
As always, I am a big proponent of if we have made a decision, let's vote on a decision. If we need to table it for the further applicants, that's fine, but Dr. Perlmutter deserves a timely response to her application in this matter. So just that's my opinion on this.
I will say too, one of the plans for tonight was we were going to have more people. We actually had a realtor who had expressed interest in applying. It kind of drug out. I spoke to them the other day, and as it turned out, this person couldn't. The only thing stopping them from applying was they couldn't make the HARB meetings. So my point in sharing that is I initially thought in scheduling this for tonight was that we would have multiple applicants, that we would be pursuing realtors as had been requested and as had been in the guidelines. And, for me, the reason why I wanted to keep this in the agenda for tonight is, I'm leaving after this meeting. I didn't want to leave something unfinished. So I thought, well, let's move forward with what we have, and then however it falls, it falls. So I'm good either way.
What we have is a qualified applicant who came out in the ice and snow and interviewed. So that is my opinion on the matter, that we should vote on it. But the current motion on the table is that we table. So any other comments on tabling?
Well, just Councilperson Chair's idea of waiting till the second meeting in January would mean that we would then, if more candidates came in, we would also interview those, just to be fair, in the same process. Is there any harm in doing that? I mean, Dr. Perlmutter, you've been here, you've been interviewed, you wouldn't have to come back.
No harm.
So it seems like very low risk of any sort of consequence. And HARB will have the best candidate that council feels it has. The only thing that will be a different council voting, but council's council, vote is a vote.
Well, 2 of the people coming on to council are here in the room, so they saw you be interviewed. It's not like we're
Okay.
not like we're-
being recorded so they can watch,
All right, any other comments?
Okay.
Any comments from the public on this? Hearing none, I'll call the question. Aye vote means you would like to table, and nay vote means you do not wish to table. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? David, were you and I? Sorry.
I was an idea.
So motion carries 5-2. Thank you, Dr. Perlmutter. All right, anything else from community outreach this evening?
That concludes our section. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared, for your excellent chairship of community outreach for the past 2 years. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Public Works. Public Safety, sorry. Councilperson Siegel Morris, are you taking this one? Or Mayor Harding? Well, we have before you the CBA, which has been collectively bargained between the Police Department and the Borough of Yardley. Do I hear a motion to approve? Is there a second? Motion was made by Councilperson Siegel Morris, seconded by Councilperson Scher. Any discussion from council? Discussion from the public? Oh, yes.
I think we should share, particularly for the public, so what's in it? So what's the deal? I don't want to get into all the details, but from what I've looked at, I've obviously looked at it from a financial perspective, and it is in line with what we have in our budget. The also key thing that it does, that it changes, is it changes the dynamic of first-year employees. So the gap between first-year salaries and salaries that go up after year 4 is significantly reduced. And so that the intent there is so that there's hopefully less churn and turnover, because the gap between what a new Yardley Borough police officer will make and surrounding boroughs is much less than what it is today. So that's the main delta, plus good increases for the ongoing people as well. So that's kind of basically what is in there. And then, as far as I know, the other terms of employment are consistent with the last contract, right?
Mostly correct, yeah. So thank you, Councilperson Carlson. I wasn't prepared as this was my agenda item, but I do want to acknowledge the immense stride with pride that I have with this CBA hopefully being voted in tonight. We are moving from lagging in police salaries to a competitive salary. In fact, we're not last, I think not even second to last anymore, based on data that was provided by Corporal Clark, and the public could see at a previous police planning committee. That's a huge win. We're a small municipality. We have finite resources, but we somehow are still able to hire and retain the best of the best in policing, and we want to reward the best of the best with a salary that they can take care of themselves and their families with. So that's a huge win. There was a change to time off leave policies, which were far above industry standards. So in order to balance out the increase in pay, that was reduced. Again, not below market, but competitive with market. And we're hopeful that, that will also help with some of our staffing shortages as well. Is that accurate? Did I miss anything? Anyone?
No, I think it's good because it encourages them to stay. I think very frequently, especially if you're on the low end of the pay scale. It wasn't going to be the word that came out, but yeah. When you're on the low end of the pay scale, I think oftentimes it's hard to keep them past a year. And what I remember in my head is that some of the turnover seems like they're going to leave quickly. And I think this will help a lot.
100% of the officers we have lost have taken on a significantly higher salaries elsewhere. So yes, that is an accurate reflection. Thank you. Any other comments from council?
Yeah, I was just going to say, looking over the document, I am happy with the numbers, and I also appreciate that after 4 years, there's pretty substantial increases, about a 60% from year 1 to year 4 increase in salary, which what I appreciate about that is, we, even with these salary increases, we may still, attract some officers that are fresh out of the academy, and maybe their plan is still that this will be a stepping stone, come here for a year or two, and then take on something else. And in that case, we we're not the last, but it kind of makes sense to have a, it almost like it works both ways. Like if you want to invest in here and stay here long term, we're going to invest in you and reward you over time. And so I'm very, very happy to see those numbers and see that they're not just little increases, but they're substantial increases. But we're not giving that all up front. So we're also being responsible to the taxpayers and residents of our community. So very great work.
I'd also just like to quickly recognize publicly, I know I sent an email, but Corporal Clark, this is his first year as head of the CBA. It's a big job. It was a hard year to do it. We're in the midst of, this police planning committee and a lot of uncertainty. Chief Golden, I had worked with him in the past, and he did an excellent job as head of the CBA, and he recognizes what a big role it is. You have the weight of your entire department's pay on your shoulders. It's a lot. And he came into every meeting advocating for the people below him, and I respect that immensely. Like, he was not looking to get some for himself. He was looking to get equitable pay for our newest officers, and that was really cool to see. I again, respected it a lot, so thank you.
I'll also can I tag on that as well, because I had an almost identical conversation with Corporal Clark at Harvest Day. And I was also very, very impressed. I know I told you this in the moment, but, you can always kind of tell when people are BSing a little bit, and it was just so genuine when you were saying that, hey, this isn't about me. And looking at the numbers, this doesn't do much for you, but this does a lot for the people who are just starting out and the people below you. And so I just wanted to commend you for that, for putting others before yourself. It really goes a long way.
All right, any comments from the public on this? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Yay. All right.
Madam President?
Yes.
I'm sorry, do you have to come up?
Yeah, we're going to sign it. Make it legal.
Okay, I'll wait till that's done, sorry. Sign it.
You have any words for council, Corporal Clark?
Just off the top of my head, I'd just like to thank everybody. This past year, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of upheaval in this department and on the council. So it's been sort of tumultuous for everybody. It's been, there's been some political contentions in the public and stuff. I just hope
None of those.
Yeah. But I just hope that this, represents sort of a gesture of kind of good faith on the part of the department and the council, and this can be sort of the start of, it's literally next year, the start of a new era with new council members and new people getting sworn in, and I just hope we're all able to, kind of move forward amicably as a department and as a municipal government.
Go, sir. Real deal.
All right.
Happy that's done.
We're clapping.
Thank you. I'm very happy.
To your comments, anytime we have a clapping opportunity, we clap.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corporal.
Thank you, Corporal. Thank you for all your insight and interaction with us. It's good to see more of you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Public Works.
Well, I didn't want to send us all off to the holidays without some slides from Public Works, so I do have some slides for you. They may not be beautiful, they have no graphics, but let's go through Complete Streets and Vision Zero. So, we'll go to page 2 here, and it may be a little small, but I'm going to read from my screen here. So to remind you, just Complete Streets Vision Zero, it's something we set out to do back in February So now we're at that point of putting this up for a vote. And what is complete streets? So I'm going to go through this. A lot of you know this already, but I think it's good for the public to know as well. Complete streets means designing our roads so they work safely for everyone, whether you're driving, walking, biking, pushing a stroller, using a wheelchair, whatever your situation. This approach saves money in the long run by building infrastructure right the first time, makes our community more walkable and attractive, and helps us qualify for state and federal transportation grants. It's about creating streets that serve all residents, not just cars. And it's not anti-car, it's just that the way development used to happen in America was really cars first, and they didn't really think about the other parts. And as time has gone on, there is more realization and there's a growing movement around the country to integrate all the users of the street so that they can all work together. So the idea is whenever we repair or build a road, plan a development, or make other infrastructure changes, we ask, for example, is this safe for a 10-year-old walking to school or a senior crossing to get coffee? So it forces us to have the conversation. And that's the idea, is we just want to be giving full consideration. And there are a lot of guidelines that goes very deep into how to do this, because this has been done for decades already. The goal is to make Yardley a place where all residents can safely get around our small, walkable borough. So let's go on to Vision Zero. So Vision Zero, next slide, please. So Vision Zero is kind of like the cousin to Complete Streets. It's a commitment that no traffic deaths or serious injuries are acceptable on our roads, and that these tragedies are preventable, not inevitable. So it's a different way of thinking about it. The approach has been successfully adopted by cities and towns across Pennsylvania and the country to make streets safer through better design, enforcement, and community awareness. Supporting Vision Zero shows that we prioritize resident safety and makes us eligible for federal and state safety grants without requiring us to spend money or start new programs immediately. Okay, next slide, please. So why do we need it? So this question was asked when I brought this for discussion, and I wanted to address this for a few moments. Number one, it unlocks money, grant scoring. And the way it works is when you apply for a grant, whether it's a federal grant or one of the state PennDOT grants like the multimodal grant, and then they have special grants that apply to communities that have Complete Streets or Vision Zero. They offer higher scoring when there's an adopted resolution that this is a goal of the community. So that resolution makes Yardley more competitive for millions of dollars in infrastructure grants that we otherwise would go to other communities. And like I said in the past, right now we're in this point where we are able to outcompete based on that. We're going to get to a point where every community has one of these. So the advantage will shrink, let's say, in the next 10 years. But we're in a good window right now where we can make use of it. Number two, it protects us from standard engineering defaults. And what that means is, without a specific policy of Complete Streets and Vision Zero, the engineers in PennDOT are legally and professionally bound to prioritize vehicle throughput, which is how fast, literally, cars can move through our community. And that is prioritized over local safety. But when you put a resolution like Complete Streets and Vision Zero in place, the engineer, the solicitor, and the whole system of designing our infrastructure has the authority they need to prioritize our values, which is safety and walkability, when they design projects or negotiate with developers. This also, so it kind of it takes us from moving cars fast through Yardley to moving people safely through Yardley, however they may be traveling. And this feeds right into a comprehensive plan. So this would go in there, and then the comprehensive plan would refer to these resolutions as a guideline. And so it's all kind of consistent with what they're working on in terms of updating that. Three is that it survives the next election. Just like something that was mentioned, Juneteenth, we have an idea, we may be aligned on it, but when we put it down as a resolution, we create some permanence to it. And we may all be different people one day. I mean, maybe we'll be on council forever, but maybe we won't. And this means that whoever comes in next goes through and sees that's the resolution, that's the way that we make decisions when we decide things in the planning commission, or when we look at engineering possibilities. We just consider all users and we think about maximizing safety. So, okay. Next is gives us leverage with PennDOT. Okay, so this one is interesting. So if PennDOT paves a road, they follow their standard state template, unless they have a compelling reason to do something different. But if we have a complete streets and Vision Zero resolution on the books, we can show it to them and say, hey, when you redo that College Avenue bridge, you have to make sure that people can get across it with a stroller or with a walking stick or with a wheelchair. And that becomes their expense, and they will honor that because we have resolution in place. And so it's helpful for those situations. It gives us a little bit of a guideline that they recognize. And finally, unlike an ordinance, this doesn't require advertising. Basically, I've written these based on input from other municipalities in Pennsylvania and outside as well. I'll put them up again, but you all have it in your packet. You've seen it before. They were written to not be a burden, but rather to foster conversation. And we already used it in the Yardley Inn meeting at the Planning Commission, even though it hasn't been put in place. I brought it. It happened to be the same meeting. I brought it to the Planning Commission, and it came up with the developers of thinking about all the users who might be accessing Yardley Inn from different locations and whether they can get there safely. And the developers actually were very on board with it. It's not like there to make it difficult for anyone. It's there to be thinking about, are we maximizing the safety of all the users? Simple as that. So I don't really see any downside to it. And I see a lot of upside. So can we have the next slide? Okay. I don't really feel like reading the resolutions. It's very small. If anyone wants me to, I will, but it's in our packets. And I think that you've all had a chance to see them.
Maybe if you just say start every sentence with whereas for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll be like you're reading it.
Whereas, I hope you have a good impression. If you have any questions, now's the time. And so I guess with all of that introduction said, I should put a motion on the table.
Yeah, please.
I would like to make a motion to adopt resolutions. Give me a moment.
You have to do them one at a time. I do know.
Okay, you're right. I would like to make a motion to adopt Complete Streets Resolution 25-14.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Finer and seconded by Councilperson Stump. Discussion from council.
The price is right, I support it.
That goes right with my
What-
recognition of you at the beginning. No, as I said,
I could have
How
done
we
better.
would-
I was trying to make it earn us money, but wait, it's
Yeah.
gonna bring it in.
worked for it.
How we would say that is whereas the cost is $0.
so if anybody would like to see our more substantive conversation, we did talk about this at our last meeting at length. I would just echo the comments I made then, that I like this. I think we all can agree with the tenets of it, and I look forward to utilizing it as justification on grants or buffering for grants and things like that we're applying for. I think it looks good that we are putting a vote behind this.
And I would say too, I think it's good to solidify things that we know this is a priority, that we want to make our town more walkable, but when we're solidifying something, I'll tell kind of a funny story to illustrate it. When I first moved to the Northeast about 12 years ago, my then girlfriend, now wife, I was driving, she was in the passenger seat, and there was a pedestrian that came out of a store that was waiting to cross. And I just kept going, and she looked at me and goes, "What the heck are you doing? You're supposed to stop." I'm like, "No, I'm not supposed to stop. I'm in a car, they're on foot, I win." Coming from Texas, that was my mentality. And I actually had this experience when I was in Fort Worth this past week for work. I stayed at a downtown hotel, and I had to actually remind myself, oh, I'm in Texas. The mentality is different here. There were a couple times where I had to yield the right of way I legally had because I would have gotten run over by a car. And that was even in a downtown area. And so, I say that humorous story to say that, sometimes we have in our minds like, oh, yeah, it's this way here. Here in Yardley, this is a priority. But when we put it in writing, it kind of gives us that positive, like we can go back and refer to it and go, okay, this is something we've made a commitment forward, and I'm in favor of that.
I have a hard time with this because I grew up hearing all the time pedestrian has the right of way.
Well, that's Texas, though. They're not.
Sure.
But, I mean, I thought that was throughout the United States. So, I don't know why we need to say it, you know, because I'm like, it's just common sense that,
Yeah.
you know.
I've almost been hit by cars several times in Texas when I had the right of way.
I wish you were the only driver on the roads. 'Cause I was in Philly for a doctor's appointment, and I was in the crosswalk. I had to run for my life. Let me tell you, this
Putting
was
it
a
in
few
a
days ago.
resolution isn't going to change that, though, so. I don't know, because you can't put that in.
Well, I think of it as like a horse before the cart. So you put the resolution in, right? Government's a little funny. You put the resolution in. Resolution's on the books. Then you refer to the resolution when you go apply for a grant or have work done or deal with a developer. And that resolution has weight because it exists in the books. And that allows you to improve design. And what we're talking about is design, because you're right, people don't necessarily comply with the law. But when you design things that's more friendly, like, for example, a sidewalk versus not a sidewalk, or a crosswalk versus not a crosswalk, you know, that's where it helps.
So, Ori, to your point, too, that this saves money by doing infrastructure right the first time, something I'm actually noticing, I'm going to go back to the Texas example because that's what I know, is in the last 12 years since I've been gone, they're actually spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, making massive changes to infrastructure to basically force people that have that mentality, I'm in this big truck, I'm in the right, to know the infrastructure is going to slow you down, the infrastructure is going to limit you. We've talked about this hundreds of times in public works. It's designing infrastructure in a way, because, yeah, not everybody's going to go the 25, and we can't get Chief Golden to have 30 cops to be everywhere in the borough to make sure every single person goes 25, but we can design infrastructure in a way to where traffic calming is part of the infrastructure, and this helps us apply for the grants to do that, so we can do it at no cost to the taxpayers, which I think is important.
I'll take 30 cops,
30 cops, yeah.
So
Sure.
understanding the differing opinions on whether this is necessary or not, is there any further discussion on council? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Was that a nay? Sorry, I couldn't hear. Did you say nay?
No, I said, no, I'm not going to oppose.
Oh, okay.
It
All right.
It doesn't really matter.
Gotcha. Motion carries unanimously. And I will sign it. Yay! And your next one.
Oh, yes. Along those lines, I would like to make a motion to approve resolution, the Vision Zero Resolution 25-15.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Councilperson Finer, seconded by Councilperson Carlson. Discussion from council on this one? Any discussion from the public? I will call the question. All those in favor, please signify.
There is one thing.
Oh, yes.
It's Vision Zero, not Zero Vision.
Okay. Good.
I have just one question.
Sorry, it required a bit of.
Mr. Finer, Mr. Carlson, whereas the cost $0 on this one as well?
It's Zero Vision, Vision Zero at zero cost.
All right, then.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Motion carries 6-1. Clap, clap, clap. You don't want to clap for that one. All righty. Anything else from you this evening for Public Works?
Oh, no, we're all done. Thank you very much for your time.
Excellent. Thank
You can
you.
take the slides down.
All right, general government.
Thank you.
Good.
Oh, we get to do this? I thought it's your last hurrah. No?
All right. Well, since we saved the best for last. No, that's not true. Obviously, tonight, we would like to talk about accepting the 2026 budget as a small update before you think about whether you're voting. Obviously, the CBA that we just signed is incorporated into the budget. so we won't be behind the 8 ball starting off. Other costs have come in favorable. We had a really good end to real estate transfer tax. We got $16,000 in December. So we're going to end real estate transfer tax at $126,000 against a budget of $100. So, new council, you got 26 to the good. Spend it wisely. So that obviously would cover anything, we're not changing the budget. So that'll just makes me feel more confident that what we laid out in October next year will support that.
And just one thought on that matter, Mr. Carlson, before we move on. That's also in case because a lot of our budget is based on things that we're projecting. And if real estate transfer taxes don't come in as favorable in 2026, this gives us 26,000 to make up for it. So that's the reasoning, right? That we're not just taking 26 out of the budget.
Oh, no, we're not taking it out. No.
No, that's what I'm just
an
saying
extra-
that for the public to hear that this gives us an extra cushion. So, okay, thank you.
But we still reduced next year's budget is 105. Help me out, Patty, I forget exactly what we had in for real estate transfer next year. I think it was 105, if I recall. So it'll still be, hopefully the same thing will happen next year. And philosophically, we want to be able to, in my opinion, you want to be able to, because real estate transfer tax money can vary widely depending on what's going on in the outside world. Mm-hmm. So you want to be relatively conservative on it and have it be something when the times are good, you build it up a little bit. And,
Yes.
hopefully not. 105 is next year's budget, right? Okay.
Is your secret sauce for modeling that? Is that something that you have documented somewhere so that future people in your shoes, because you've done a very good job following through on that kind of nonlinear income?
I'm a proponent, I don't know, I look at trends. I just look at,
Okay.
I look at trends
That's
and
basically what you do.
and see timing of when it comes in. And one of the advantages, the first year it did it, when properties were on the market longer, it was harder because you'd see what's for sale, and it's easy to calculate how much you're going to get when it sells. But first of all, is it going to sell full price? Maybe not. And it's going to take, and it might take 6 months, 9 months to go.
Right.
But in the last few years, most properties,
Everything sells over asking quickly.
well, not necessarily overact, some do, yeah. But speed, usually within 2 months of it being posted, or 3 months, you actually see the, so it makes it a little easier to predict. And we hear, oh, look what went for sale, oh, look what went for sale. I could fast forward a couple of months and kind of predict it easier.
And you can get the average number of days on the market for our area and kind of add that, you could figure out,
So it's not as hard, but anyhow. So, and then other expenses, as I look at the bills list and stuff, I mean, we'll get a final tally of December next week, and I promise I will update everything before January 5th, so that everybody has the results of 2025. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2026 budget as presented in October, with a couple very small modifications, or a couple small modifications that had to do with the CBA, a couple of categories of work, but it was insignificant in terms of dollars. But it's basically identical to the October 19th presentation.
October 19th. I was going to ask if people wanted to go back and watch. It was at the October 19th meeting.
Yes, October 19th means where we presented it and which categories and all the details of the budget.
Excellent. Motion
Presented there.
was made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Carlson, seconded by Councilperson Finer. Discussion from council? Thank you so much, as always, for the excellent work. Feel good about the numbers, like Ori said. They've been on the money. Or low, which is better than being high. All right, any discussion from the public? We're losing steam, I can tell, guys.
They're still with us.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Martha.
Okay, I'll go fast. I'm winging it here, but I think I have it right. The next thing we have to do is to adopt the tax levy ordinance number 498. And as you recall, in the budget for next year, we had a grand total of, what was our total? 3.9, right? Mills? Increase?
Yes, 3.29.
3.29, thank you, sorry, 3.29. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember it exactly. So we did not do any really reallocating. The only thing we did is we did put an extra 2 mills into the capital reserve, so that we have that for future projects as they come, and for cost sharing that we need to do. So entertain, this just gets our ordinance in line with the budget and supports that for next year.
Motion was made by Councilperson Carlson. Are you making the motion?
Yes. Make a
Okay, is
motion
there a
to
second?
accept it.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Carlson, seconded by Councilperson Stump. Any discussion from council?
I just have a few clarifying questions, just for people who are maybe watching at home. I generally know the answer to these questions, but, so this increase is about slightly over 10%, right?
I didn't
last year.
I didn't bring all my stuff from last year.
It's an approximate increase of about
Yeah.
$89 per household.
Okay, and if our average is 800, that puts us at
Yeah.
right at about 10%.
About right,
Okay.
yes.
And then, out of the things that we mentioned, it's mostly what we've been doing previous years. The cost of things go up. We voted tonight to give our police officers a pretty substantial raise, and then money into capital reserves for grants and infrastructure things, which is what we've been the biggest request in the time I've been on council. Can we get more sidewalks? Can we get more infrastructure? These things cost millions of dollars, but we can spend a few thousand to have competitive applications for grants and get millions of dollars in funds. So I consider it a win. It's not just raising taxes because we can. I don't say it's fiscally irresponsible. I think, it's two things. I heard from one resident that it was this shame that we paid our police so low. But then when we said we're going to give our police a raise, they were like, well, this is terrible that you're raising taxes. But it doesn't really, maybe we could stand on the sidewalk with jars and ring bells.
Welcome to this job and why it's hard.
So just wanted to say that for maybe people who are tuning into this meeting that maybe haven't followed the others, that that's what this is.
Thank you. Any other discussion from council? From the public? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Should we do the tax certification fee along with these two? They kind of seem to go together.
Yeah, we're on a roll here.
Pull that one up.
So this is from our tax collector. Where did it go? I just went away. It is her fee that she charges for tax certification. She's more in line with surrounding municipalities. So she is, and if I could find it and pull it up. You have it. So she's going from $35 to $40 for a tax certification fee. What that is when somebody sells property, they ask her to certify that the taxes are paid. She has to do it in writing. So this is just bringing her, like I said, more in line with surrounding municipalities, like Lower Makefield's $50, Newtown Township's $45, Doylestown is $40. So Christine is asking council for the consideration to increase her fee from $35 to $40.
So we have another request that we not be the lowest, but we're not going to be the highest.
Right.
Do I hear a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Scherer, seconded by Councilperson Stump.
I'm sorry, I made my comment before the motion, but that was my comment on it. This is very reasonable.
Middle of the road. We're a middle of the road borough, but not in quality,
Exactly.
only in cost. All right, any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, I would like to let the public know that prior to this meeting at 6 PM this evening, we had an executive session of council for personnel purposes. The personnel purposes was the final performance review of 2025 for manager Paula Johnson. She sat for four formal performance reviews this year with a mixture of council members. We rotated in, so she got to speak with all of us. We also had a 360 feedback survey open all year where any member of council or staff could drop in feedback about her whenever they wanted. We provided her with a formal performance review, which has been discussed with the employee. This feels like so formal, and I closed it already. Should I go over the highlights of it, do you think, or?
No, I don't. That's usually very private when you have a performance review.
Yeah, so
You
we,
and your boss and
yes, we discussed growth areas and strength areas. The biggest growth area and improvement area that Manager Johnson has worked on very hard this year has been communication to residents, communication to all of this, getting information out to council, being responsive, and that was recognized by all members of council. So any other comments before we move into her annual salary?
I'd like to comment on something that is not on our, on that thing that you didn't read, which is heart. Paula has a heart of gold, and you serve our residents with love and care, and people know that, and I appreciate what you've done for us this year. Thank you.
You're here.
Agreed. It's a hard job, and she does it with heart. So Manager Johnson has a contracted increase scale, 3% for meets expectations, 4% for exceed expectations, and 5% for outstanding. There is no cost of living adjustment baked in, but that was 2.5% in 2025. So I just like us all to be aware of that. Would anyone like to make a motion for an increase to Manager Johnson's salary based on that scale?
I make a motion to increase her to 4%.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Scherer, seconded by Councilperson Siegel Morris. Any discussion from council? Discussion from the public? I will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
And finally, the last agenda item is mine. This year, we formed the ERAB, Committee Elevation Resident Advisory Board. And I've been the liaison to the committee. I've really enjoyed serving on it, a bunch of hardworking individuals. We bit off a little more than we can chew here. We are drafting a 10-part manual for homeowners. Introduction, pre-application phase, post-grant planning and readiness, home inspection engineering assessment, thinking through what you might like in your home, grant award and pre-construction phase, construction and elevation phase, communication during construction, post-construction and reoccupancy, and finally lessons learned and resident reflections. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to help all of our future elevations go more smoothly and homeowners feel like they are equipped with the knowledge to advocate for themselves. However, it is not done. And we had voted that the committee would disband the end of December. So we are asking for an extension until the end of March with a presentation to council in April. So would anybody make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilperson Applebaum, seconded by Councilperson Stump. Any discussion from anyone?
I just have a logistical question. So with you moving into your new role as mayor, will you still be serving to the liaison since you've already?
I would love to, but that's up to whoever is president. So I am, if the president is in the room, submitting my application to continue to be the liaison, but I understand if they would not like that.
We can't vote you in as the liaison tonight?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All righty. Well, folks, that is the end of our agenda. And with that, again, thank you for the privilege.
We need to vote on that?
Oh, did we vote on it? Didn't we vote?
No.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Yes.
One question.
Yes.
I I didn't see it, but I just wanted an update from whoever is making the application for a loan. Do you have any?
Oh, yes.
update on that? Since we had snow on the weekend, and I'm sure that wasn't helpful with the roof.
I did know, and we did well over the weekend, thank God. I did put in some questions to the DCED for some verification on the loan, so I'm just waiting to hear back. So I fully anticipate the resolution to be on probably the first agenda in January.
And no LSA.
Nothing yet. No, it's a waiting game.
Yeah. It's the thing about these grants.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So again, thank you all for appointing me as your president. Thank you for the privilege. I'm excited for the new role, but we'll miss this one certainly, and we'll miss you, those of us who are moving on. But I'm a little jealous, only a little bit. And I, for the last time, would entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned at 9:11.